from the beginning of the draft to the end to figure out what to do into that specific draft style. So
speaking of the draft, we are into it, gentlemen. Going to see the first band coming out. Hack really don't want to see that Koshka.
You know what I love about this, though, is that the Hack isn't just sticking to a blueprint. They're actually reacting to what TSM, they feel like could be a power play from them. On the other side of the equation, TSM might be thinking like, oh, nice, nice, we just got you to ban something that we didn't really value highly,
Kestrel,
but we knew it would work.
Yeah, Kestrel, Lyra both open here with the Lance ban. This is TSM saying, you take one OP, we'll take the other. And it is going to be the Kestrel, which Hack have said is absolutely the most strong and the most aggressive hero that you can pick, you know, right now.
And they usually play her in lane, so we see a lot of strength coming out of Dada on this Kestrel. They've been actually pioneering a little bit of the lane Kestrel since, I think it was VIPL 3 when we kind of originally saw it come out.
Let's see, where do you think we go with this draft now for Hack? I mean, you've got the Kestrel, you're going up against the Lyra and the Gwen. What would you be picking?
Well, you definitely need so Flicker comes through, right?
Flicker!
So Play, quote unquote, said Flicker is OP.
Yeah, he did. Technically, that is exactly what he said. OP is basically what he said, yeah.
So here's the thing. When you're going into Lyra and into Gwen, heavy poke, you don't know if Gwen's going to be Crystal Power yet. You don't know if she's going to be Weapon. So you have to have a comp that you are confident will succeed regardless of what TSM's strategy is. And they think Sky is the answer with the Flicker. I don't know if that's the case. We don't really have anyone to go in with Flicker when Flicker gets onto the target. Their strategy for Hack is going to be Flicker holds onto somebody. Kestrel, Sky, you got to get rid of him before I die.
The Glaive coming out, that's actually quite an interesting pick because this really allows TSM to get in those engages that they need to. And if they don't get those engages, they can always disengage very easily. Gwen can just pop out, and there's no way Hack can really catch up to them.
Yeah, there's a lot of disengage tools from TSM. We have the Bulwark to keep Flicker from coming in. We have Vision Control coming out of Gwen. And
guys, Team SoloMid versus Hack. If that first game was anything to go by, I cannot wait for this one. Look at Sensible. What? Oh,
my man.
Okay, you got to break this down for people because this is a normal Lyra play. I haven't seen this from a Flicker before.
Well, Flicker has to imagine that maybe Lyra's going to do this.
Oh my God.
And Flash taking, look at the damage off the bat. He's just melting it. Flash should be going down here.
He can't get out of this one.
Two more.
Sensplay
gets it.
I can't believe it. That was so smart. Like
smart of a
we've talked about Lyra. OP. We've talked about Lyra and the level 1 play where you just go up behind people, and historically, no one else has been able to deal with that.
Yeah.
Right? But Flicker, because of the surprise element of his stealth, I mean, way to use a heroic perk. I am so blown away by that.
Absolutely love it. And these are the kind of plays that you will see out of Flicker. Very sneaky, but we've talked about it with all these teams. He needs to have a good early game.
Vonsea does pick up the return for Team SoloMid, so it's a 1-for-1. Sense play, gotta be careful here. I'm not sure what he's trying to accomplish. He's just trying to go on Best Chuck, I guess. Does find some good damage.
I mean, look at that damage. You come out there, you get a basic, and your Fairy Dust off. That is so annoying as a laner
No,
to
he's
deal
not
with.
going to do it again.
Why not?
Oh, this is ridiculous. This is super dirty.
Just get in there. I mean, his laner's coming out right now. Best Chuck sitting on sub 50% health right there. It's just very nice plays.
I Love Youngju is trying to find a return kill on a Vonsea here, though. Flash X might be able to do this with the Arcane Missiles. He just needs one more basic. The minions actually could take down I Love Youngju. He can't get away anyway between the two enemy turrets, but Vonsea goes down to Sense Play. Sense Play is everywhere right now.
What is going on? He takes the back right here. He's got the regen. This guy is just making all of the plays across the map right now.
This is straight up like
Fairy Dust just doing good work, and of course, Lyra is one of the best heroes that you can put up in the lane for that early aggression. Dada doing a good job to trade right there, but Flash, he'll just put that sigil down, he'll right back up.
Vonsea, got to be careful here. I Love Youngju and Sense Play coming into the fight. Vonsea, does he have the ability to afterburn away? Not quite yet, just barely
calculated
gets out of there. That was so close, and Flash X is actually just going to use that Imperial Sigil to heal him up in case perhaps Sense Play stealthed into the bush to try and lock down that kill. It's 2 for 2 right now, 3 minutes into the game between Hack and Team SoloMid.
You know, it's a really small thing, but here at the World Championship, you can't make a small play like throwing a sigil and having someone teleport home. It's all about efficiency, and right there, it was a little bit of a misplay out of Team SoloMid.
You know, I'm slightly concerned, though, because I feel like Team SoloMid missed an opportunity there, right? We saw Sense Play and I Love Youngju expose themselves to Vonsea with both Flash X and Best Chuck full health nearby, and they just abandoned that. They said, okay, we're going to go to the enemy jungle instead. And given the pressure that Senseplay's been putting on, look, Vainglory doesn't have any backup right now. Is this really worth doing? BestChuck starting that rotation. Actually, they do have a good amount of damage, though. Maybe Senseplay's is going to go down here. They does. Now the heal coming out of Flash X is going to be able to keep Dada in a bad position. Does find a good active camo stun, but he just can't get away. Buckshot reveals him even if he could have stealthed. 2 more kills to Team SoloMid.
So much slow coming out there, but ultimately it comes down to who gets that mid right there. Vainglory was able to claim it, and so they just snowball off the back of that.
All right, so let's talk about Vainglory and some of the builds happening from these teams. Vainglory's going for a Stormguard banner right now. We've seen him a couple of times in the Evil 8 actually go for the Tension Crown Glaive. It's had varied success. I remember one game in particular, which is pretty crazy with him trying to backdoor. Do you remember that one? But, I mean, it's interesting, right, that this is the type of build he's going for when perhaps I would have expected more of a bursty build into, for example, the Sky and the Flicker.
Well, I mean, this can come out to be an incredibly bursty build, and it's going to help him take objectives, just like we saw, and we talked about getting that mid. If he can get that regen, they can snowball off of that.
Oh, Flash X is struggling to get away here, does get rooted up, but Dada is the one taking all the damage.
Oh, Chuck!
Can't find the stun. Chuck with a great skedaddle there is going to put some nice damage down, finds another kill, 5-2 right now. TSM starting to really rein this one back in.
Yeah, I didn't know if you were going to say nice or nasty damage, but either way would have worked. That's Chuck really performing very well here.
Sensplay looking for a little bit more, though, trying to find Flash X. I Love Youngju does have the ultimate, but the damage out of Vainglory as he jumps onto the backline is very strong right now. BestChuck with those buckshots, with the heroic perk as well, manages to lay waste there. So Team SoloMid pick up another kill. It definitely feels like they were maybe taken aback at the beginning. They steadied themselves, and now they're focused again.
Yeah, definitely. I'm kind of feeling that right now. And you talked earlier about the tendency for a team like Hack to rotate as 3 to be taking these team fights, pressuring on the lane. But right now it feels like Team SoloMid, they are constantly rotating as a unit. They're taking advantage of all these slows.
FlashX actually, I believe, tweeted out earlier that he felt the team to win Worlds would be the one to imitate that Armada East Asian meta, and that's actually what he's doing here, right? So it's kind of curious, right? Like, Team SoloMid has definitely gained a lot from the scrims that they've been having.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's one thing to imitate it, it's another thing to master it, and right now they're doing a very good job of putting Hack into the dirt. And Team SoloMid being up 1-0 in this series, if they can take 2 points early on, it means so much to a team like this.
Absolutely. I mean, what are we looking to see in the nenext couple of minutes here?
Oh my goodness, Jackson, you just throw it all on me right here. I would expect to see aggression continue out of TSM. Vainglory actually activates those boots a little bit early there. Let's see if they continue on this.
Vainglory trying to go for maybe a bit of a turret dive there, but he takes so much damage already. I Love Youngju with a beautiful death from above, stopping anyone from moving through that bush. Hack are on the offensive right now. Good ace coming out, stunning up I Love Youngju, stopping more chase, but a one-shot, one kill does tag BestChuck NA. Both teams, they're kind of just going to have to walk away bruised here.
Yeah, they're walking away bruised, but right now Hack have a massive advantage. Basically, they forced the fountain out of TSM. Hack moved down to the shop, and they have a fresh fountain ready to go. And they're actually sitting in a place where they could get decent damage out. And it looks like Vainglory's going to get back and get most of his jungle out right now. But it's actually, he's going for the CP here.
So, I'll get back to that in a second, but I'm really curious to hear. You said, okay, Hack, they get an advantage, they keep their fountain up. Why didn't they do anything with it? Why didn't they decide to perhaps go for an invade? They've backed away, they've actually given Flash enough time that he's only 15 seconds away from his fountain, and they're not really pushing the turret in a strong way.
It's hard to say. It felt like that was the pressure going to lane, but here's your engage.
Oh, Sen's play. He's doing such a good job of stopping Vainglory from chasing any further. Dada, he's not able to maybe get in range to finish up the kill, but you can see again there how important it is to keep Sen's play off of your carries, because that completely locked them down.
My idea based off your last question is they knew Vainglory was far enough ahead into his own jungle, and having the Stormguard banner, he's probably going to have already cleared out those camps. So while you might move over there and get the kill, you're really not going to get too much of an advantage out of it.
All right, so you were talking earlier on about builds. You know, it's certainly interesting here seeing, for example, this early Frostburn on I Love Youngju. That could be very useful at slowing down, for example, BestChuck, because he doesn't have an ability to jump away, so it's predictable movement to a certain extent. Do you think the builds here make sense?
Yeah, all the builds make sense right now. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with the Frostburn first, but it's going to be a decent item for him that he probably would have wanted to build at some point here.
Absolutely. Of course, it does get better over the course of the game as the slow scales with Crystal Power. I Love Youngju and Dada right now doing a very good job of just stopping Team SoloMid from pushing in this lane too quickly. Gwen does have an ability to shove it fairly fast, just with the wide AoE damage coming out of the buckshot. And actually Team SoloMid used that push to maybe go for a gold miner here. That's going to be the one shot. Does not connect. I love Youngju trying to find the angle. He does get a lot of damage on the Von C whilst trying to go for that gold mine. Flash X cannot run away. He goes down. Hack find another kill. Von C actually moves in to knock I love Youngju back, but I'm not sure if that's going to accomplish enough here. He does have the afterburn. He's able to get away just barely.
Yeah, I mean, that was a great fight coming out of Hack, but I feel also errors coming out of Team SoloMid. Flash, of course, he doesn't want to have to use his ultimate early on in this fight. He doesn't want to have to self-fountain, but it just had to have been miscommunication there because he could have portaled into a much safer position, at least bought some time for his team, knowing he was going to go down there.
Yeah, it was definitely an interesting choice not to use that, but we all know Flash is kind of the strategist. Maybe he's got a plan for that within what the cooldown would have been, even considering that death.
I would have said I had a plan.
You would have said, oh, of course you'd say you have a plan. We'll find out if he does. Maybe they're going to use it here, for example, to get over that wall. For now, they're just backing away.
Well, I mean, there's no reason, right? Like, Goldmine was just taken. There's no Kraken on the map. That's maybe a reason why you would think of holding on to that Arcane Passage. But what it's really nice to see is this quite early contraption coming on here. Now, this is an item we don't see built all the time, but I think it'll be used to great effect here.
Against Flicker, against also a Kestrel, it seems like a very solid choice. Fonzie just barely getting out of that active camo. I'm not sure it's going to matter, however. He does get taken very low. Dada ducking up into that bush, looking for the one-shot, one kill. Only finds Flash X, though.
And it's very nice engagements coming out for Hack here. They've put pressure on TSM. Vonzi almost going down, but look at the Sigil just healing him right back up. Thing is that Hack are holding on to their fountain, so if they take a decent fight, they fight on their terms, this should be going their way.
All right, you can see them beginning to siege up a little bit more here. The question is, do they realize Von C backed away? If they don't, maybe they don't want to take too much of a risk. Maybe they don't want to walk in, because of course Von C going Crystal with the Stormcrown does have a lot of burst. You can really pair up nicely with Best Chuck NA. So far,
Sensei, a little bit of hesitation. You can tell right now Hack aren't sure exactly what to do, and this is kind of the thing before where you asked why didn't they follow into the jungle, but they didn't know where Von C was. They don't know how much of the jungle he's cleared, so Sensei realizes we actually have control over the middle area of the map, moves down, but he can't take that mid away fast enough. So a little bit of an error coming out of Hack's play here.
Do you think part of the caution perhaps from Hack is actually, oh, hang on, Dada, gonna get jumped on, does reflex block that afterburn, so no stun coming across. Vonzi walks right into that active camo. I love Youngju, just gonna be supporting from the side, getting some good damage down. Vonzi eats the one shot, one kill, and has to back away. Sensei wants more though. I love Youngju too, jumping forward, Survey Strike, but the minion wave is gonna stop that advance. Could go for the turret here, though. That's the real goal anyway. They need to be killing those to get to the Vein Crystal later on. Good wave clear coming out of Team SoloMid, however.
Yeah, really nice job there. And also one of the tools that they have at their disposal is if you drop an active camo down, that's something where Sky can just sit there and forward barrage right in that active camo. If Glaive jumps in there, that's the easiest activation of this Kestrel's life.
So I want to return to my previous question that I was beginning to ask. Do you think maybe Hack, they talked about the fact that they've been becoming, never mind, Vonzi going in yet again, does get a lot of damage off with that ultimate, but he just can't get away afterwards. He can't do the hit and run because the Sense play slow is doing too much work. It's also going to be a kill on the Best Chuck. Flash X does have the portal, so he stops the ace, but a turret picked up for Hack.
And one of the things right now, I don't know if this is Hack has the timing in their head, but look, Flash's fountain just came up right now. Hack knew that they had a window of opportunity. They pushed it right there, get the kills, they get the turret, very nicely played. And so they're going to go ahead and move in. Looks like we got a little replay here. We're going to see what happens. So Von Z, he's going to jump forward. Where's the rest of his team? It's just nobody ready to follow. Perfect Surrey Strike from I Love Youngju to get into a safe position. And, well, you have a skedaddle, but you're a very squishy hero, and that's going to be Gwen going down. Flash, of course, portals out of there, prevents that ace, but Hack just taking advantage of this right here.
Blocking crowd control only does so much. It's not like a reflex block where you also get a missing health shield. You know, skedaddle is going to give you that ability to dodge something, but if you eat it, you're still going to be taking the damage. Hack, they've done a good job here. Team SoloMid had really pulled back into the game, and now Hack's making their way forward here. I really think this point is so key, otherwise I wouldn't keep trying to bring it up, but Hack mentioned that they feel like they're becoming more and more of a late-game team, right? When we talked to them in his video interview earlier on.
It's so interesting,
it's kind of apparent from this game, right? Like, they're being very cautious in the mid-game, trying not to extend into the jungle. Now that they feel like they have a big enough lead, they might go in. Sense play doesn't find the slow onto the key target, so just Flash X, and Vonzi's still full health. This could be an opportunity for TSM to try and find a re-engage, but now they're the ones being cautious. They don't want to overextend here. Vonzi, I would have expected him to go in about 30 seconds ago. You know, like this is not the normal play. He does go for that afterburn, but I love Youngju with a beautiful reflex block. Stops
my
it. 2 quick
goodness,
kills.
Jackson!
Hack! Look at their kite ability in that fight. You can see why TSM was wondering about going in at all.
I call hacks. This is gonna only be hacks here. Just phenomenal plays. TSM right now, it is so apparent that Vauncey is looking to only burst the sky down, and if he does not do that, they almost completely lose the entire fight. While Best Chuck has enough damage to start chunking through these targets, Dada's doing a great job with the glimmer shots, and they're abusing this flicker to just control the movement through these fights. It's just phenomenal to watch.
You know, I can't wait to hear the analysts talk about this a little bit later on, but I want to hear your thoughts, you know, again, with more information here about Vauncey's build, because yes, obviously you do get some burst offered by going Crystal Power, but with the heals, for example, coming out of Flash X, right? Like, does it not make more sense just to go weapon and try and chunk down whoever you are able to stick on?
Well, that's one route. So you could go with the weapon route, maybe pick up a Bone Saw and you focus down a target with Best Chuck. I'm not sure that that's necessarily the best way, but it is definitely an option. I don't like the Shatterglass because this is so bursty. You're all in, and if you do not burst the target down, you've lost the fight. I would much rather see a bit of cooldown built for him and look to just abuse Afterburn, looking to reposition and peel for the Gwen and let her do the majority of the work.
All right, well, we've hit 15 minutes, guys. The Kraken is now on the map. This could be the key opportunity for either team to take it. Team SoloMid, formerly known, of course, for the Team SoloMid Special. Maybe they can pull one of those off here. They do still need to get every single turret, so it's available. Kraken's getting taken pretty quickly by Hack, though, and TSM's being very cautious here. They don't want to engage carelessly. Active camo blocking off the choke point. Hack starting to pull back a little bit. Look at how quickly the Kraken's going down. It's not going to be stolen. Vauncey nearly found it, though. I love Youngju. Can he deal the damage? Best Chuck trying to kite around the edge of the fight. He's looking for the key targets. He does get one, but Sense Play has the damage. Dada hunting down Vauncey. One shot, one kill, not going to land, but the real damage has been done. Humanist Kraken is on the field. Sense Play. Oh, man. I thought for a second that was an active camoed up Kestrel. I thought it was going to be over, but Sense can still find it. He's going for that Binding Light, doesn't land it.
He's got it!
Vauncey has the afterburn, though, just barely able to get away. Humanist, we could be seeing a first 1-for-1 here.
I can't stop smiling. This is so good. Honestly, like all of these, there was a major mistake. Flash did neither Fountain nor used War Treads in that engagement, and you're going to lose every fight where you're not using those items.
That's a very, very good point. And, you know, especially when you look at the fact that Best Chuck had actually hunted down I Love Youngju on the backline. He'd successfully killed probably the most key target right now. But the support wasn't there. Like, the Roamer did not, frankly, do his job at keeping him alive. And that meant that Vauncey's efforts on the other side of the fight were in vain, right? Because he'd done a good job of zoning out the damage from Hack and from Dada, right?
Yeah.
Everything needs to come together in such a crucial game like this, on the world stage with such excellent teams. When you see a misplay like that, you gotta question it.
All right, let's see if this engagement can happen here, Jackson.
Mooncloak coming out from Sense Play. He wants to end things right here, right now, trying to get some damage on the Flash. Vauncey can't really find too much on the back line.
My goodness, he didn't found again! He didn't found again!
Oh, man, that is not good news. You gotta wonder if maybe Hack's in his head right now. Hack moving on to the second and final turret for Team SoloMid. Best Chuck is doing some good damage, but Sense Play zoning him away with the slow. They can't get through the backdoor protection, though. Hack,
well, they're trying, though.
Man, they're going to have to back away here. Team SoloMid just barely staying in this game.
I mean, unbelievable. Hack, I was questioning that sort of aggression that they were going for because as I'm looking at net worth, the items that are built across the board and compositionally, Team SoloMid, I feel like maybe I wasn't giving them enough credit. They're definitely still in a position where if Best Chuck can start to get some stacks on that breaking point, he can blow up the Kestrel, blow this guy up and pull himself right back into pole position in this game. But the way these engagements are going, Sense Play is absolutely phenomenal on this flicker.
There's a reason why he literally said OP, OP. Like, that was his quote. The rest of it, he needed, you know, a translator to help him with. This,
we had to translate for the translator. We were like, oh, it's overpowered.
She was like, what does OP mean? All right, let's take stock of this game real quick before things just blow up again. Hack, they're 12 kills to 7. They've got a 4,000 gold lead, and only one turret is left alive for Team SoloMid. Their backs are against the wall here. They did win game 1, so even if they lose here, they've still got 1 point in the group. But it can't feel great, you know, having such a strong performance in game 1, having such a strong comeback from the very strong early game of Hack in game 2, and not really being able to keep it going. You see Hack thinking of maybe going for a backdoor here, something like that. They're being very
Gwen's
aggressive
also
in the lane.
split off for them right now, and they have you're either going to teleport back or someone's going to get picked.
They are going to all 3 teleport back, so Team SoloMid. I mean, I actually wonder if maybe Hack shouldn't have pushed the lane there. It gave Team SoloMid some free goals. Oh, move close! Team SoloMid did not see this one coming. Flash jumps right into the fight. He needs to be with that buddy system on his teammates. Fountain does get popped this time, but Best Chuck's still the first target to fall. Flash X, he can't get away. He goes down.
Do it, Hacker, do
They
it!
take 2 kills in the fight. They're going to take the game. It's 1-for-1 between Korea's Hack and North America's Team SoloMid.
Most likely. This is
It's
the one.
Sandmore. Come on, Fonzie's not defending here.
I mean, hey, he's got an opportunity to just become more legendary
Prove
than
me
he
wrong.
already is right here. I mean, yeah, okay. He's gonna go down.
All right, so that was a pretty incredible game, Humanist. We had that long pause in the middle to really give us a chance to break it down in great detail, what we expected to
Look
have
at the
happen.
smiles.
But what I did not expect to have happen is just the strength, the consistency of that comeback from Hack.